So this is the heart seal. The heart seal, I named it that because I didn't think anyone would understand anahata bandha, which is, anahata is the Sanskrit for the heart chakra, and bandha we talked about yesterday. But physiologically, a bandha can be manifested as a co-activation around a joint space of multiple muscles activating around the joint space, creating stability. That's not exactly a bandha. When we talk about bandha, that's like an energy thing. It's the sensation in the void, in the space of that joint, and awareness in that space, what's going on there. But inevitably, when you put your awareness inside of a joint, the muscles around that joint tone. They wake up a little bit. They maybe don't like clench or grip, but they're like ready, you know? And that's what happens. You put your mind in the sacroiliac joint, and everything around there just gets ready. You put your mind at the front of the throat, and the neck muscles, they're ready. And so that's kind of the bandha. So anahata is the heart, and it comes from, she's not here, but she was talking about chakras yesterday with me after class. And I referred her to a guy, he's a yin yoga master. His name is Paul Grilly. And so he has a chakra DVD education, whatever, that he talks about the bandhas of all the 7 main chakras, and he works with the 7 chakra system. And he wasn't very clear on the bandha around the heart. He was basically just like, the sternum moves up and forward. And because the rest of the DVD is very precise on everything, but that one I was kind of dissatisfied with. And I started to realize that and I'm going to start throwing in some muscles here, and we'll cover these, that when you co-activate Serratus anterior, which is this muscle on the side of the rib cage, the rhomboids, which are between the shoulder blades, and subscapularis, which is the muscle underneath the shoulder blade. So there's 4 rotator cuff muscles, and subscapularis is underneath it between the rib cage and the shoulder blade. When you activate all 3 of those, it looks something like this. There's very little. It's just the sternum moved a little bit forward and up because the back of my rib cage shortened, or became more narrow. And so I started to call that anahata bandha. It felt good. It felt very open when I do my chakra meditation, and I did that while I focused on the heart. It did something for me. But I didn't think many people would understand anahata bandha, so I just call it the heart seal, which is like a rough translation. So this is kind of the counterpart to what we did yesterday, the sacred psoas, just a grouping of isolations of certain muscles. Drop your tongue, and that'll help with the twitch. And, the muscular system, it's like a chain. And so the weak link in the chain is going to determine what you're able to do. If you do the crow pose, you may have really strong arms and shoulders, but if you have a weak teres minor, then that's going to create a problem. And so these chains of muscles are called anatomy trains. And so we'll get into that. And the idea is we're going to isolate muscles along the chain of muscles, and then you'll be able to determine for yourself, is there a weak one? Is maybe it's weak on one side, but the other side, it's a different muscle is the weak link. And it will amplify your awareness of if you have any spinal rotation, if your shoulder girdle is rotated, if you're maybe creating too much impingement on the front of the shoulder. We'll zoom through it really fast because the time frame is about 2.5 hours. And I doubt that it will take 2 hours to get through all the isolations. So then we'll have about half an hour to play if there is, this isn't an arm balance clinic, but if there is something inversion related or balancing on your hands related, and just keep in mind, even plank pose is a hand balance. Chaturanga is a hand balance. And so it doesn't have to be like a one-handed handstand.